Hello, magical ones. Welcome to the Faerie Witch vlog. I'm the Faerie Witch, and today, on this rather cold and cloudy fall morning, we are going to do a little crafting video today. We are going to make fairy candy, and so I'm going to walk you through that process of what I do. And because I do need to do a few of them, I'm actually still working on a fairy doll as a Christmas present. And I've decided as the whole theme is going to be candy, so I want to sculpt some candies. So we are going to do that today. So if you're brand new to the channel or if you're a subscriber, I thank you so much. And if you're checking us out for the first time, welcome. I welcome you all, and I hope that this will be an inspirational video for you as a way also to connect to the fairies. I am a fairyologist, I'm a cat trainer, I'm an artist, a knitter, I teach classes occasionally, and I'm a fairy craft magic practitioner. So a lot of things are related to fairies around here, but you never know what you're going to get. You might get baking, you might get book reviews, you might get movie recommendations, you might get information videos about fairies and fairy craft magic. That's the thing, you never know what you're going to get. So if you're not a subscriber, you might want to click that button if you're interested. That would be fantastic because I don't have a schedule. You don't know when you're going to get something new, and you don't know what you're going to get. So it's kind of good to get that notification now and then, and that way you can go, oh yeah, I need to check that out. So I hope you will, and I thank you. And so we are going to set up a little workstation here, and we will proceed from there. Okay, so I've got my little table here set up, and so we are going to, we're going, sorry, I wasn't sure camera was still running. Um, what we're going to sculpt today, and I said sculpt, even though I said we're going to make fairy candies, and we are, it's just, yeah, these you don't eat. So I'm going to be sculpting little fairy candies. And these are some that I've already made, obviously. And I've got some different varieties here. So we've got our little caramel. And I've got more chocolates. Whoops. There we go. And we've got some more here. So even though these are already made, like I say, I wanna add them as decoration to the fairy doll that I'm knitting. And so these guys, I am going to use a couple of these for the doll, but I need a couple others that are smaller. These are more, extra, or standard candy size, which was the idea when I sculpted them. But the doll doesn't need as many of these big ones. I need to make some smaller ones. So that's what I'm going to do for you today, this little demonstration. But here's some more of my little candies. And these are fun to make. I do like making these. I think I made some of these last Christmas or the year before, and I just never got around to using them for anything. But they're ready if I do. So like I say, I will be using a couple of them. But some of these guys are just a little bit too big for the doll, so I need to sculpt a couple little ones. Alright, so what we're going to use here is my air dry clay, and I've got a little bit of water, I've got a drawing cloth, and I've got a few of my sculpting tools, whoops, which I just dropped on the floor. Bloody hell. Alright, let me grab that. I'm not even sure where it is. Blast. Okay. One moment. Ah, grazie. Alright, so I've got that. So I'm going to level the camera a little bit better so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. And we are going to make some fairy candy. So let's sprinkle a little fairy dust and see what we can conjure up. Okay. Whoops. Hope you can hear me okay. I'm trying to be loud enough. Alright. So I'm going to open up my clay tub here. And I'm going to pluck off some clay. I don't need a whole bunch and I don't need a large amount. So what I want to do is first of all, I want to make some little candy, kisses, kind of like the mini Hershey Kisses. I want to make a couple of those because they're each going to be glued to the top of the little shoe on the fairy doll. So I did have some already made. They're just so small, they got away from me. I'm not sure where they are at this point, so I'm going to sculpt a couple of new ones for you. So it's really simple. I just take the clay and it's kind of like a really soft shape. It's not like a real pyramid or anything. It's not that detailed or angular, I guess is the word maybe I'm looking for. So you flatten out the bottom. And then you just keep working the clay as I turn it around. I got to get any creases, lines, any little tears out of it. So you need to keep massaging it until it gets rounded. And I'm putting a point on it, which I'm going to probably cut a little bit off. Okay, so it's more like a teardrop at the moment, and it's a little bit too big. So I'm going to squeeze the top point a little bit more so I can cut it off. Then you remake the point, and I gotta soften it a bit because I don't want it to be really hard pointed. I just want it to look like a Hershey Kiss, which is very rounded. Even the point isn't too structured, so I want it to look like that. And I kind of squish it down a little bit, make sure the bottom is flat. Okay, so it's just a little kiss, little Hershey Kiss. And I think that is a little bit big yet for the fairy doll, but I don't know. I think it would work. I think it'll work. I think so. I think so. Alright, so I'm just making sure that it's flat on the bottom, because I will be gluing it to the knitted doll, so I want it to be, it's got to be flat. Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to do the next one, and this one's actually smaller. Oh, this would have worked better. Okay. Well, let's see what we can do. I try to match them as best I can. I can't be absolutely, totally, perfectly matched, because you're sculpting, you're doing it freehand. It's not like a machine that will punch it out at using a template or a mold or something. I have to do it myself, so I try to be accurate. Now this one's actually smaller, but this would work better if I could make another one like this. So let's keep working this. He's just a little guy. I hope you can see. He's really small. But this actually would work better on the shoe because it's a lot smaller. Whoops, there we go. Sorry about that. He's little. So yeah, this would actually probably work better. Alright, that's okay. I'll make another one. Let's see if I can match them. Alright, let's make sure that the base is flat. Yep. There we go. Just a little kiss. Alright, so let me make another one. Let's see if I can match that size. So I gotta squish the clay together, make sure that it's bound together here. And there we go, we already got a shape. Very good. Sometimes I'm good. Alright. Yeah, a little one. Yay! I think that's about the same size. Looks pretty good. Yep. Okay, so let's show you in the dish here. Hope you can see it. But yeah, these two little guys I think will work better on the shoe, and then I've got the bigger one. And that's okay. I'll make the bigger one, and I can use it for something else, or I may actually use it on the doll if I decide to. So it's good to have some different shapes. Okay, so those are the two things I needed. Now I'm going to do the bigger candies for you to see. And I think I will go ahead and do a round one to start with. So again, you get the clay, gotta squish it all together. That gets air pockets and bubbles out of it. It gets some of the tearing that comes off when you pull it off the chunk there. Okay. So I've got ball clay. So first things first, I want to put a flat base on it. So I just kind of tap it in. So we've got our flat base. Now I gotta shape it. And since I'm gonna go with the round one, I need to keep rounding up the top. And I want it to be more circular at the bottom. So you just have to keep moving it around, turning it, squishing it in places. And I always think about Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory when I'm sculpting these. That's my favorite candy maker. And I always think about their candies when I'm sculpting. It helps me think about some of the designs I've seen them do, or the shapes and the sizes too. It helps me keep the size more proportioned. But I often think about that when I'm sculpting these little guys, because their candies are so good. They use some wonderful chocolates, and they make some wonderful goodies. I just love them. But I gotta, and I always think about their inspiration, but their candies always look so beautiful too. They really do. Go onto their website if you can and check them out, or go to a store. I mean, I think most malls here in California have a Rocky Mountain usually, and actually see them. It's just, Yeah, I dare you to go to one of those places and not leave without buying something. Because it just draws you in. It's good stuff. Okay, so I'm just trying to get some of these tears out of here. The clay keeps wanting to separate a little bit. And I keep losing my shape. Come on. Because I don't want to smooth out. I don't wanna. Okay, so now I have more of a shape that I'm happy with. The base keeps moving on me. I need you to be flat. Okay. Okay, there we go. Alright, so let me show that a little bit closer to you. So now I have more of a circular candy shape, which is what I want. Now, what I could do is either let this dry as it is and then use paint to enhance it. So I would use usually have a couple of different browns, as I showed you in the sample candies. Some of them are more of a caramel color, others are more of a chocolate. There's a dark chocolate. So I try to use those particular browns to do the candy painting. So I have the option of either laying this dry and keeping it just plain and then doing all the paint job to make the design and all the color and all the other, or I could go ahead and add clay embellishments. So like with this caramel, you can see hopefully that there is the little strips here are actually clay. They're raised like a 3D. They're clay little strips that I sculpted out and then attached. So it made it more decorative. And then that way the paint job was just a standard paint, you know. But I think to show you, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sculpt some little designs. That could be polka dots, but usually I use the little like little strips. And so I think what I'm going to do is that same thing. So I've got this little tiny bit of clay and I'm rolling it out like you would with a rolling pin when you're baking. And I just want to get this little tiny little piece. I'm going to try to get it even so it's not chunky in one spot and thin in another. Plus it elongates the clay. And that's going to be what I want. So here I got a nice little strip. So then I'm going to attach it, and since all the clay is still wet, this is a good time to do this. Okay, and then I just press it down. You just press it onto the top. And I want another one. So let's do it again. Okay, that piece ended up being bigger. Charcoal's in here with me, and she's playing a game down there with herself. I think she's got a piece of fabric I dropped when I was working on the quilt. She's playing with it. Okay, so I've got another longer piece now, Yay, like a little tiny spaghetti noodle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and attach again. And then you just press it on, but not so tightly that you lose the 3D look. So you have to be careful not to press too hard, but enough that it does adhere to the main sculpture. Okay, so there we go. Oops, there we are. So I've got two little lines in there. So it adds a little decoration to the candy. Yeah. Alright, and so I think I have time to do one more with you. This one I will go ahead and do a square shape. So I move these little guys out of my way. Go. Okay, so mash it together. And the square-shaped ones sometimes can be tricky. It doesn't, I have to sometimes use the sculpting tools for those. So, in order to get the cut square shape. But I try to get most of it started. So let's see, I got my clay here. And I'm formulating kind of a square as best I can. And again, candies, even in a square shape, are usually kind of rounded on the corners. I don't often see them where they're perfectly square. You know, it's not like cutting a brownie or a piece of cake where you can actually cut and make it, you know, a perfect cut line to get that absolute perfect square triangular shape. So it's good. I don't need, you know, I don't want that anyway. I want to do kind of a rounded look. So I'm just kind of trying to get the shape. Oop. But sometimes the clay is an odd shape, so you have to help it along. So let's cut that. So I cut that piece off. Got a lot of, it's got a lot of cracks in this one side here, so I need to straighten that out. And you can use a little bit of water too. It's just, it's already so wet. I didn't want to over wet it, but that will help smooth out some of the cracking. Yeah, it's getting to be more like a little caramel size. That's okay, that works. This is a great technique too to make your own little marshmallows. You can sculpt little marshmallows, you just make them even smaller than this, get the square shape, and then paint them white. And you've got a little marshmallow. I have done that too. I don't think I have any of those ready-made already to show you, but I have made those. But this one looks like a, you know, craft caramel size, which are my favorite caramels. Well, one of them, anyway. They're great for baking and eat right out of the bag. like I say, Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory, they make some of the best caramels too. They're so good, and they're big. They're big. Okay, so that looks cute. I think that will work. Now, I could make that a chocolate, or I could make that into a caramel. Like I say, it's a perfect shape for a caramel. So, and since I don't have too many more caramels, I think I will go ahead and just let it dry, so I won't decorate it up. But yeah. So yeah, there's my little plate of fairy candies. So it's simple, it's fun, and before you know it, you get so engrossed in it, you end up making a whole bunch of them within one day. So I know don't need that many right now, so I'm going to keep myself from going crazy and overdoing. Oops. Don't need that. Alright. So yeah, so there we go. Now, like I say, I don't have any pre-made. I apologize, I didn't plan fully ahead for that. So I don't have any that are ready to paint. So I can't do that part of the demo, but like I say, I did already have a bunch of these already made up. So I can show you. And, you know, it's all about the painting part. So I would use, like I say, chocolate colored paints, usually like a water base, crafting paint, or an acrylic. And then I've got the caramel color as well, which is more of a yellow or a light brown yellow, golden yellow, golden brown, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And then, you just paint the decorations a different color if you want to, like I did with this one, because this has got a light pink top. And this one here has got the blue. I put the blue strips. So, or you can just go with a darker brown. This one's got a light brown strips against the dark chocolate. So you can go crazy and have wonderful making these little guys. And, it's fun to make, and you can use them for anything. I have done it in the past where I bought a plastic candy dish, and I made a bunch of these, and then I put them in and I glued them into each other so they'd stay as one piece, like a sculpture. And then I think I gave it away as a present. I had made it as a gift. And the person who took it really got turned on to, oh, I got a whole thing of candy. And then I said, yes, but you can't eat it. But she's like, no, they look great. They look great, that's candy. And I said, nope. I had to bring her out a little sample one that was loose, and show it to her and say, no, no, see, it's clay. And she's like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Of course, I did give her some real candy with it, but yeah, the whole idea was to, give her a little sculpture. But yeah, I had her fooled. She thought it was real. So yeah, you want to be careful that nobody actually tries to eat these, because you're going to have a major dentist bill. That happens. But yeah, these are just, air dry clay, and you paint them. And then some of them I sprayed with like a ceramic spray. So some of them are a little bit glossy, and other ones are more of what they call a matte color, which means it's a flat spray so it doesn't shine so much. And that way it keeps them protected from, any kind of real water damage or anything. Plus it makes them a little bit easier to clean, because you could use just a little bit of warm water to wipe them down, keep the dust off of them, and then that way it won't, permeate and get into the clay, because they're not fired. These are not put in a kiln and fired, so they're not completely waterproof. They're just air dry clay. And air dry clay, one of its nice features is that if you do want to make something like at this stage here that I just sculpted all these little guys, let's say I let them dry, they're completely done, and then I go, you know what, I wish I had done something different, or I wish I changed the shape, or, yeah, I could use more clay and just make a new one, but what if I'm almost out and I can't get more right away, which is often my case. So as long as you're still in this stage, even though they may be dry, you just put them in some water and let them soak. And within probably a couple of hours, they're going to be soft enough that you can start over and resculpt them. So that's the nice thing about air dry clay. As long as you put them into a kiln and fired them, you can still play with them. Now, once they've been painted, though, yeah, that will make it harder. And I wouldn't recommend putting them in water and soaking them. They're going to get damaged. They're going to look terrible. And the paint job, of course, the paint is going to change the consistency of the clay. So you're not going to be able to use it again anyhow. So once you're at this stage, you're done. But again, spraying it kind of helps protect them and keep them from being damaged, and you can clean them a little bit easier, just gently, and that way, get fingerprints off of them and that sort of thing. So, yeah, so those are my recommendations on making fairy candy, and I hope that you found this video, informative and interesting, and you can start making your own. Like I say, just have some fun with it. If you're not sure what to do, look online and just see a picture of some candies. Go to a candy website and see how they did theirs, the shape and all that. It gives you an idea. Of course, even more fun way is to go out and buy yourself some candy and check the model, and then you can eat the model. So you might as well enjoy and have some fun, right? So it makes a great little holiday decoration and great holiday gift. And like I say, don't eat them. Don't let anybody eat them. Don't let your pets eat them. Don't let kids eat them. Be careful, and have a great time sculpting your fairy candies. So, thank you so much for watching, and have a fairy day. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.